Earth Hour is a global campaign launched by the Worldwide Fund aimed at raising awareness of the public about effectively saving energy, reducing carbon dioxide emissions, and contributing to environmental protection under global climate change. This initiative calls for individuals and businesses around the world to turn the electricity off for an hour on the last Saturday of March every year. The campaign was implemented for the first time in 2007 in Sydney, Australia. So far, it has been organized in 162 countries and territories. Vietnam has participated in Earth Hour campaign since 2009. From the response to the campaign, Vietnam has saved 431,000 kilowatt-hour electricity, equivalent to 650 million VND in 2014. A special feature of Earth Hour is the message, which can be changed each year based on the situation of the global environment. In addition, it also impacts positively on the awareness of the community for environmental protection, energy saving, and coping with the climate change. In today's program, we'll talk to Mr. John Nielsen, Danish ambassador to Vietnam. He has been the honored ambassador of Earth Hour campaign for 4 years. He will share about Earth Hour campaign and its impacts on Vietnam. Hello and welcome to Sharing Vietnam on VTC10 Netviet. I'm Nhat. In our program today, we'll have a talk with Ms. John Nielsen, Danish ambassador to Vietnam, and we will share about the topic of the positive impact of Earth Hour campaign on Vietnam. Thank you, Mr. John Nielsen, for joining our program today. First of all, why did you decide to become the ambassador of the Earth Hour campaign in Vietnam?
Well, first of all, I was selected by the government to be the Earth Hour ambassador, and now this is the fourth time. But I think primarily the reason why I wanted to be involved in this when I was asked is that we have from the Danish side been working with the Vietnamese government for many years now within environment programs, also within climate change program, and recently we have been working on an energy efficiency program with the Vietnamese government. So Denmark has a long track history of working within these areas to combat the consequences of climate change and also to focus more on how we can reduce energy efficiency.
What do you think about the activities of the Earth Hour campaign in Vietnam in the last several years?
This is the fourth time, and I think there has been a very positive movement in the sense that people have gotten more aware of the consequences of not doing anything. Vietnam has a growth or demand of energy which is increasing about 10% each year or above 10% each year, and this cannot go on unless you do something in the households or in the companies to reduce energy in the future. Otherwise it's going to be extremely difficult for Vietnam. The Earth Hour campaign has contributed to people becoming aware of that they have to do something themselves, especially the young people have gotten more aware about that they have a role to play in this.
What do you think about this year's campaign's message about the saving energy and coping with the climate change in Vietnam?
Key message is and should be that everybody can contribute. Every one of us can contribute. The government cannot solve this themselves. They need that each of us in our households help by reducing energy. That's one thing. So saving energy is a good motto for the campaign, and that has been there for a long time. The focus on climate change, what can we do to reduce the effects of climate change, where Vietnam is one of the countries which are most prone in the whole world to the effects of climate change. I think that's a key issue, that's a key focus area that should always be part of such a campaign.
So what are the new features of this year's campaign in Vietnam?
I think that the key thing is that when you look at the Earth Hour campaign some years ago, now it's all over the country. So I think that's very important that it's not only the big cities where it's present, but it has come out also into to the smaller cities. I know it's in Da Nang, which is not a small city, but it's in Hoi An, and it's in Can Tho, and it's in other cities. So it's the whole country this time is involved in the Earth Hour campaign, and I think that's an important feature, and especially the fact that the young people are involved, because they are the ones who they are the future of this country, and that they are the one who can change this. I mean, old people, it's more difficult to change the mindset of old people, but the young people, they are the future. They can bring these messages forward.
In the series of activities of Earth Hour Campaign 2015, the exchange program between the Earth Hour ambassadors and more than 3,000 students in Hanoi was held by the Ministry of Industry and Trade and the Embassy of Denmark at the Hanoi University of Industry. The program took place with a lot of meaningful activities such as building worlds, the message of coping with the climate change, the idea contest of environmental protection such as super energy saving automobile, eco-friendly fashion shows, 60 plus puzzle. The ambassador discussed with the students about the responsibility of individuals and communities in the use of energy saving, jointly cope with the climate change, and extensively convey the message of Earth Hour campaign to the community.
Em cảm nhận thấy là sức lan tỏa của chương trình đối với các bạn sinh viên và với đặc biệt đối với bản thân em là một sinh viên được tham gia cái chương trình này thì mang một ý nghĩa rất là lớn. Trước tiên là chương trình mang đến cho em được một cái thông điệp về việc bảo vệ môi trường, tiết kiệm nhiên liệu cũng như là ý thức hơn về việc nâng cao cái việc bảo vệ môi trường và tiết kiệm nhiên liệu. Bên cạnh đó thì các bạn sinh viên sau khi tham gia cái chương trình này thì về sẽ chia sẻ lại với các bạn sinh viên tại địa điểm của mình, tại khoa của mình, và các bạn khi đó thì sẽ tạo lên một làn sóng rất là lớn để nâng cao hơn và tuyên truyền nhiều hơn chiến dịch này.
Thông qua những hoạt động này, khi các em tham gia thì các em cũng là rất là nghiêm túc và rất là hào hứng khi được tham gia, bởi vì các em nhận thức được rằng là khi mà các em tham gia những cái hoạt động như này, thứ nhất là về cái tính cộng đồng các em được nâng cao, nhưng đặc biệt đó chính là các em hiểu được rằng là cái việc tiết kiệm thì nó có lợi ích rất nhiều cho cái cuộc sống của chính bản thân các em và chính cho xã hội. Thế thì năm nay thì rất là vinh dự cho trường Đại học Công nghệ Hà Nội và đặc biệt là đoàn thanh niên nhà trường lại được phối hợp tổ chức trong một cái thời điểm hết sức có ý nghĩa. Đó là cái thời điểm tháng thanh niên năm 2015. Mặc dù công việc của đoàn trường thì của chúng tôi thì cũng rất là khá là bận rộn với nhiều các cái nội dung hoạt động phong phú. Thế nhưng chúng tôi cũng rất là quyết tâm dành một cái khoảng thời gian và rất là mạnh dạn đăng ký và xin phép được đăng cai tổ chức cái hoạt động tiết kiệm năng lượng ứng phó biến đổi khí hậu, cái chủ đề của năm nay.
This is the first year that Hanoi pioneered in holding Earth Hour campaign before it officially starts. According to the General Electricity Company of Hanoi, within 1 hour life of campaign, Hanoi have saved 241,000 kilowatt hours, equivalent to the amount of 400 million VND. Besides, it organized many community activities for the campaign, such as calling for approximately 1,000 participants, cycling and collecting rubbish in parks, and public sports. More than 3,000 households, businesses, and restaurants in Hanoi committed to turn their lives off during the event. It played an important part in raising awareness about saving energy and in coping with the climate change, saving about 10% of total energy consumption of Vietnam during the period from 2011 to 2015. What did you think about the impacts of the Earth Hour campaign in Vietnam?
The years that I have been here for more than four years, I have seen that the awareness of having to do something has grown. So I think the Earth Hour campaign as such has contributed to raising the awareness that you have to do something. You cannot just have an economic growth where you don't consider how much energy you use, where you not consider the environmental effects of what you are doing in your production. You have to take these things into consideration to save the planet, to save Vietnam from not being affected too much by by the effects of climate change.
What are the differences of the Earth Hour that you may see between Vietnam and other countries around the world?
I think actually the campaign here has grown very big compared to some years ago, and for instance in my country, in Denmark, the campaign is not nearly as big as it is here. You could also say that we have taken care of some of the issues that Vietnam is facing now some years ago, but the things that people would like to contribute to deal with the effects of climate change. A feeling that the awareness among the government officials and the government as such has grown quite a bit over the last years, and they're worried about the future. So I think they have taken it serious, and they are contributing very well also to this year's campaign.
In spite of the positive activities of the Earth Hour campaign in Vietnam, some people may be concerned with the adverse effect of this campaign in Vietnam. What are the suggestions that you can give to make this campaign become more positive and meaningful?
I think it's very important not to focus on the 60 minutes. The Earth Hour campaign is 60 minutes plus, yes. And the most important part of it is the plus. Because the 60 minutes where you turn off the light and everybody is sitting in the dark in front of the Hanoi Opera or in other places in Vietnam. But the plus is more important because that's outside the 60 minutes. That's what everybody do outside the 60 minutes, what the people do in their households, what the people do at the companies. That's what they do the rest of the year. So that's more important than the 60 minutes. So I don't think we should focus so much on the 60 minutes, because that's a manifestation that we are all together here and we will do something as a commitment. But what we are doing outside these 60 minutes are far more important, because that's where it counts. That's where you can see the effects of the commitments.
Can you share about the activities and programs that the Danish Embassy will launch this year to support Vietnam in saving energy and coping with climate change?
We will continue the climate change program that we have already developed with the Vietnamese government and provincial authorities, both in Quang Nam and in Bến Tre, and we will probably also expand it to another province. That's one thing. The other thing is that we will focus on further supporting companies in reducing energy. There's a lot of waste of energy in both household and companies here, and we are doing together with the consultancies some energy audits in order to get recommendations of how the companies can reduce the energy use in their daily work. So that will be a very important part of our work.
Thank you, Mr. John Nielsen, for sharing. And that is also the end of our program Sharing Vietnam. I hope that we give you more information regarding to the Earth Hour campaign as well as its positive impact on Vietnam. For comments and feedbacks, please send to Sharing Vietnam at netviet.tv.net. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you again tomorrow.